So Rockstar's massively anticipated prequel western shooter is finally out after being delayed multiple times. And I gotta say, it's nothing short of amazing so far. I haven't gotten too far into the story to say too much about how great it is or not, nor is this another video that's going to be overtly praising the studio or the game. I think there's enough people and enough videos out there doing that already. So I figured today we're going to use our time in a much more important sense, and that is explaining the origins of John Marston's legendary facial scars. Now, if you don't know who this gaming icon is, I don't really understand why you'd be clicking on this video to begin with, but he's the protagonist of the original Red Dead Redemption release back in 2011, and considering this is a prequel that takes place roughly 11 years before he starts hunting down his previous brothers in arms, his relation to Arthur Morgan, Red Dead Redemption 2's protagonist, and his position in the Vanderlyn gang was somewhat major factors of the hype train behind this game, as well as figuring out a little bit more about his backstory, since not too much light was shed on that in the previous game. And one of the bigger questions in reference to John and his past was how he got those badass facial scars. Now, this is something Rockstar never directly addressed or answered in a cutscene or directly through in-game dialogue. As a matter of fact, for the most part, it was just considered to be a creative design to signify how much his design was inspired by the original Red character from Red Dead Revolver back in 2004, since this character has similar facial scars as John Marston. And considering Red Dead Redemption wasn't expected to make all that much money, nor did they expect to ever make a sequel, kind of having a vague origin story to John's facial scars like that would make a little bit more sense. You know, there's no reason to have a source if you're not going to continue with the storyline nor that character. But apparently Rockstar decided to go a little bit more in depth with the whole Red Dead storyline, since they actually gave John Marston's scars an origin story, while also tying it a little bit to Arthur Morgan and John Marston's relationship. Now, we're not going to talk too much about that today, since that seems to be like a whole nother interesting topic, but it appears that John actually got these facial scars by being attacked by a pack of wolves out in the forest during a blizzard. Now, before we go any further with this, I do want to debunk something relatively quickly, and that's the possibility of John receiving these wounds from a rival gang attack. At this point in the game, it's actually, you know, very early on, practically the beginning of the game, but Arthur and the entire Vanderlyn gang is forced to set up camp to consolidate and find a way out of the mountains.
See what we've got in terms of food.
Meanwhile, they discover a rival gang known as the O'Driscolls are in the exact same area as well.
What are you bastards doing? Why are you up here?
We're fixing to rob some train.
Shortly after finding out that the O'Driscolls are in the same exact area as they are, Abigail, John's wife, approaches Arthur and asks him to go and find John, since he's been missing for about 2 days.
I need you to... I'm sorry to ask, but...
It's little John.
Now, after a while of searching, you come across a dead horse, and the guy that goes out and scouts ahead with you to go look for John mentions that that looks like the horse that John was riding before he disappeared. It's at this point that he fires his weapon to see if John will yell out, which he immediately does. Now, if John was attacked by the O'Driscolls and then he decided to hide, it wouldn't make any sense for him to just shout out and ask for help, because then that's a huge possibility of them being more members of the O'Driscolls to finish the job than them being Arthur or anyone else from the Vanderlyn gang, which turned out to actually be the case. I believe this is also backed up a little bit more by the way that the horse is mutilated and not shot, as well as the way that John decided to hide. He's kind of hiding a step down off of a cliff, so that way it might be a little bit more difficult for the wolves to get to him to finish him off, playing a little bit more as a deterrent. But there you guys have it, the origins of John Marston's facial scars. I found it very interesting that Rockstar decided to add this in, especially at the very beginning of the game, so everything just from the start kind of has a lot more depth, and I applaud Rockstar for going above and beyond and doing something like that to kind of show everyone what exactly is in store once they move on to the full game and get out of the mountains. But anyways, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. If there's anything else you guys want to know, any ideas, or if you want a little bit more of an extensive, in-depth version of this, please let me know down in the comment section below. But like always, guys, my name is Cynic. Thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully y'all did enjoy, and I'll see you guys all next time.
You know, we're gonna need to come up with a better story for that scar. So, freezing, bleeding, starving, damn near getting eaten to death ain't good enough for you.
Here, let's cross to the left.
Yeah, come on. Let's push hard and get back.
See those buildings up ahead, John? That's where we camped.